Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ron and today we're going to be talking about 3 ways you can improve your knife carry right now. Let's get into it. I've incorporated a knife into my everyday carry kit for a while now, and for what I need it for, I find it absolutely indispensable. I use my knife primarily for light duty purposes like opening packages or letters, occasionally snipping some twine or paracord. Since then, I've done a lot of research, gotten really into the EDC community, and I've had the pleasure of starting this channel and interacting with a lot more of you guys, learning about what's important to you guys in an everyday carry kit and what you might prioritize in a knife. Having said that, there are a few modifications that you can make to your knife right now that'll either improve the functionality of the knife or improve that visual aesthetic that you love so much. Without further ado, let's get into tip number 1. The first thing you could do is add a fob or lanyard to your knife. Now, most knives will have a hole at the end of it where you can slot a paracord or piece of leather through and kind of create your own lanyard or fob depending on what you want the functionality to be. First things first, what's a fob, what's a lanyard, and what's the difference? Now, a lanyard is a longer attachment that's meant for knife retention. It's supposed to attach to your wrist or your pocket, and it sets you up so that if you were to drop your knife, it won't separate from your body and you won't have to go looking for it. For example, if you're at a campground at night and you're using your knife and let's say you fumble and drop your knife into a sea of leaves, that would be a difficult situation to look for that knife. You could pretty much say goodbye to that thing. It's the dead of night, no light, no visibility, and you're gonna have to go scrounging through all of those leaves to find your knife. Now, if you had a lanyard that was wrapped around your wrist, if you were to drop that knife, then it wouldn't ever separate from your body and you'd be able to locate it in a pinch. Now, whether or not an engaged knife dropping from your hand and swinging from your wrist is dangerous to you or not, that's a different issue. But at the very least, you know that you won't be able to lose your knife. Now, a fob is a shorter attachment that serves a different purpose. Firstly, it's really easy for you to customize your knife with a fob. Now, I've gone with a gray Snake Knot paracord fob that keeps pace with the rest of the gray monotone look that I have for my Spyderco Para 3. I really enjoy this thing because it's a simple look, clean, and has a nice aesthetic to it. Secondly, the fob serves to extend the grip of the knife. If I were to engage my knife and kind of hold it just naturally, you can see that my pinky holds onto the fob and not the rest of the knife. Now, of course, this depends on the size of the knife that you're talking about, and you may not need a fob to extend the grip of the knife depending on the size of the knife and the size of your hand. But it serves as a great second function and adds that functionality to your knife. Finally, having a fob on your knife makes it easier to draw your knife from your pocket, especially when combined with a deep carry clip, which I'll get into in a little bit. There's barely enough of that knife popping out of your pocket for you to get a secure grip on it easily. Now with that fob, it adds that little extension for you to pull the knife out of your pocket much more easily. And to me, and a lot of people watching this channel, with everyday carry, efficiency is everything. You get better and more proficient with your everyday carry tools, and you'll be able to get your job done much more quickly and much more efficiently. So that's a knife fob in a nutshell. Now, if you're interested in making a snake knot paracord fob for your knife, like I have on this knife, I'll show you. It's really quick and really easy. All you gotta do is grab about 12 to 18 inches of paracord, slot it through the hole that you have in your knife so that both sides are evenly distributed, and you're gonna tie what's called a snake knot. Starting with that left paracord, loop it around to the right and behind, then grab the right paracord, loop it behind to the left and over the assembly, and slot it through that loop that you have on the right. Once you get that done, cinch the 2 sides down and you'll have your first snake knot. All you have to do is repeat it 4 more times and you'll have the same size fob that I do. I decided not to go too long this time because I felt like the previous fob that I had was a little cumbersome. If you notice in my past videos featuring the Para 3, I had a much longer fob. It was about 4 inches long and just really cumbersome, hung out of my pocket, and it was apparent to everyone that I had a knife in my pocket. This solution is much cleaner, much tidier, and more subtle if that's your style. Once you have your 5 snake knots down, go ahead and cut the 2 pieces of paracord, leaving an 1/8 inch of space so you have enough room to singe the ends and melt it down. Melting down the ends of your paracord keeps it from fraying, so it allows it to stand up to much more abuse and use over time without becoming undone. And there you have it, a simple snake knot fob that's real clean and adds to the overall aesthetic of your knife with some added functionality. Moving on to tip number 2. Now the second way you can add some functionality to your knife is by adding a deep carry clip to your knife. Now the stock clip on the Spyderco Para 3 was formed in such a way that it added about an inch of knife that was poking out of your pocket after you've clipped it down. And it wasn't until a commenter on this channel named Alexander the Great brought to my attention 2 awesome clips that were compatible with the Spyderco Para 3, the MXG and the Lynch deep carry clip. I chose the Lynch because I just really enjoyed the visual aesthetic of it. It's real clean, sweet form factor, and I feel like it just adds to the Para 3 overall. And when I put it in my pocket, it barely shows the knife peeking out of my pocket. There's just enough clearance for the hole that I attached my fob to. Now with that deep carry clip, although it does add that subtle look to your knife, it really buries your knife in your pocket, and so this adds even more value and incentive for you to either attach a fob or a lanyard to your knife, making that pocket draw much easier. Overall, it provides a cleaner look and a much better visual aesthetic in my opinion, and it's much more in line with the type of style that I want to carry my knives with. So thank you, Alexander the Great, and I would definitely recommend a deep carry clip for any of your knives. Tip number 3 for improving your knife carry, and this is a little meta, but it is basically this: practice with your knife carry setup. Now, I say this because we're making modifications to the knife. This will change the look, but more importantly, it'll change the feel of it, the functionality of it. Now, if you're used to drawing your knife out of your pocket a certain way, I guarantee you that a deep carry clip will change how that knife is gonna feel in your pocket, and it's gonna change how that knife's gonna feel being drawn out of your pocket. To that end, you gotta practice with your new setup. Practice with the new fob on there, see how it feels, how it differs from your old setup, and make sure that you're used to drawing your knife out of your pocket. I mentioned efficiency at the beginning of this video, and it really just goes back to that. The more proficient that you are with your knife, however you've set it up and whatever modifications you've added to it, the more efficient you'll be and the less chance that you'll fumble when you open your knife, draw your knife, put it away, and you'll have more control of the situation and more control of your tools. To that end, that's tip number 3. We, as an everyday carry community, love talking about what's inside. We love talking about the contents of our kit, but more needs to be said about how we maintain that kit, how we practice with our kit, how we use our kit. I'm in love with this knife now, even more so than I was before. I mean, check it out. The aesthetic is just dope. To me. I mean, everybody's got their style, but this is my jam right here. All gray, monotone, simple fob, clean look, deep carry, subtle, sleeper, all goodness. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you hit that bell to be notified whenever I release new content on everyday carry and gear. Alright y'all, until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and live with purpose. See y'all later. Peace!